In a perfect world, we would all have everything we need to have a successful life, right? But here in this imperfect world, we have to accept the fact that we're not perfect. Everyone has personal weaknesses, and the secret to overcome our weaknesses is to turn them into our greatest strengths. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you stop and look fear in the face. So you must do the things that you think you cannot do." Hello everyone, my name is Khiyati. Welcome back to my channel Fame and Sun. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for joining me here. Today in this video, I will be talking about ways in which you can turn your weaknesses into your greatest strengths. So without any further ado, let's get started. So first of all, let me tell you something. Your inner journey to self-improvement begins when you're ready to look into your soul to see your inner imperfections. And it all depends on how willing you are to look within your true self. Sometimes we possess some weaknesses from our childhood and we can't really understand why. And astrology is a great divination tool to help you understand your journey. Like for example, if the moon in your natal chart is combust or is placed in a bad house or is in debilitation, it can end up giving you malefic results, like you could end up suffering from depression, anxiety, confusions, not being able to understand yourself, and having thoughts that are very scattered and feeling very indecisive about everything in life. At the same time, if moon is placed in a good house, it will end up giving you good results, like you could be a great singer, you could be a very intuitive person, you could be very emotional, nurturing, caring, loving, and soft-spoken. Same goes for Mars. If Mars is placed in a bad house, it could end up giving you bad results, like you could be a very aggressive person or you could just have a bad temper. If it's placed in a good house, it will give you power, authority, position, and you could also be in the army. While these are just some examples of how an astrology reading can help you understand your inner journey, an astrology remedy is not the only solution to overcome your weaknesses and turn them into your greatest strengths. Like I've always said in the past, I'm not here to just do astrology, numerology, and tarot card readings. I'm also here to inspire you and motivate you. So let's talk about our weaknesses. When you ask people what their personal weaknesses are, you get a variety of answers. Sometimes people say they're not able to speak up for themselves, or they don't have enough confidence in themselves. Sometimes they just have a bad temper, or they make poor judgments and choices in their relationships and friendships. So now I'm going to share 3 most common weaknesses with you and how you can turn them into your greatest strengths. Number 1 is fear to speak up for yourselves. The most important thing you can do to overcome this type of a weakness is to first dig deep within yourself and understand your true self. Then put it all out there, just like how you would declutter your closet. Understand your true self. Ask yourself some important questions like, why do I possess this weakness? Why am I afraid to speak up for myself? Is it something I've had since childhood, or did some unpleasant or traumatic experience cause it to happen? Why do I feel fearful to speak up for myself? Now, write down your feelings and thoughts associated with this weakness. Ask yourself, how do you feel, and think about not being able to speak up for yourself. Do you feel low? Do you feel powerless? Do you feel intimidated by someone? Why is it so important to ask yourself these questions? Because remember, the motive is to bring you into awareness. Why is it so important to journal down your thoughts and feelings associated with your weaknesses? Because when you start to feel fearful within yourself, then you create a thought, and that thought brings you into awareness to acknowledge how you feel. Now you have a choice whether to speak up or not. Now, how are you going to turn this into your greatest strength? The only thing you can do to overcome any of your weaknesses and turn them into your greatest strengths is to first acknowledge it and face it. So the next time when a situation arises and you have to speak up for yourself, instead of being afraid, face the fear, acknowledge your feelings, honor them, and then speak up. Because believe it or not, speaking up for yourself when it's the most difficult to do is your greatest strength. And it takes just that one time to get the ball rolling. You do it once, and I assure you will not be afraid to do it again. I'll tell you something about myself. I used to be a very sensitive person, and I still am to a certain extent, and I have no problems admitting it. Being sensitive was only a weakness until I started my journey as an empath, and then it turned into my greatest strength because it allowed me to be more empathetic, loving, caring, and nurturing towards people. And that is my true self. It opened me to sense and feel people's vibes, and that helped me connect with people at a deeper level. I also pursued a career in healthcare because I enjoyed being around patients and assisting them in healing. all this conspired to entice me to delve deeper into psychic science. And this is how I turned my weakness into my greatest strength. And so can you. Number 2, poor choices or judgments in your relationships. Quite often we think that if we talk about our weaknesses with our partners or our friends, they can be used against us. Not really true. If you set the correct boundaries, nobody can use your weaknesses against you. On the contrary, you will end up having healthy relationships with others. Like for example, in the past, if you've had a bad or a painful breakup, or your friendships may have fallen out, then instead of being afraid of meeting new people due to the reoccurring failures in your relationships, you can now use your strength in bringing honesty to table. Tell your new friend or your new partner exactly how you feel about your previous experience, how you think you could have done something differently, how you think your person could have done something differently to save the relationship, and most importantly, the lesson that you learned from it and what you don't want to experience in the future. This way, you'll set the correct boundaries, and not only will your new friend or your partner respect you, but they'll also be able to connect with you at a deeper level. Number 3, and the most important, is not having enough confidence in yourselves. A lot of times people say their biggest weakness is not having enough confidence in themselves, especially at workplace. And you know why that is? Because they don't believe in themselves and their capabilities. I always say this: if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. Like on a job interview, they always ask you this question, and it's like a game. What is your greatest weakness? Now, when you answer this question, you have to make yourself look super confident, at the same time own up to being imperfect. You're not going to tell the interviewer you don't have a weakness, because 1, that's not true, and number 2, they're not going to believe you, and we all have some weaknesses, so that's okay. So when you answer this type of a question, you can tell the interviewer that your greatest weakness is taking on a lot more workload than expected. And as much as you'd love it, it's draining at times. Now you can see how confidently you've let your interviewer know that you're a great worker and you have the capabilities of taking on a great amount of workload, but at the same time you realize that it's a weakness and you're working on it to create a healthy work environment for yourself. So the conclusion is, become more aware, acknowledge, honor, and embrace your weaknesses, and then turn them into your strengths. Be honest with yourself and with others. Just speak the truth without being afraid. If a relationship didn't work out for you, it's because something better is waiting for you. Believe in yourself. Stop thinking you're not good enough. There's no missing pieces to you. You're exactly where you need to be in your journey. Every lesson you've learned has shaped you into a better person, and you're enough. So that's all I have for today, guys. I hope you all found this video helpful. If you have some experiences that you'd like to share with me, please feel free to email me. You'll always find my email in the description box below. I just want to say that I'm truly blessed and honored for every person who has crossed my path and has allowed me to do a reading for them. And I'm grateful for those who still will. In case you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe before you leave. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I do try to post regularly. You can check out my pages and also follow me there if you're interested in my content. If at all this video helped you, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. In case you want to book for a reading, you can visit my website, fameandson.com. I do astrology, numerology, and tarot card readings. And before I end this video, I want to say a big thank you to all my new subscribers. I really appreciate you all joining me on my journey. Until next time, I'm sending you all much love and light from Fame and Sun. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.